I think my hot take is I still am out of tune with myself. I don't know what I like. I think I like everything a bit, and I don't know what's more or less. I don't understand value, I guess. Hot take.
I love that this has turned into an existential crisis for Mariah.
It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Nothing for it. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
I love you.
I know.
Go! Get to the chopper!
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I see dead people.
Milk was a bad choice.
Hello and welcome to another episode of How to Be a Movie Snob. Folks, you're in for a doozy this week. We have not one movie, not two movie, but 30 movies we'll be talking about this week.
At least.
Big 3-0. The same age as all of us, the big 3-0. Is that right, folks?
Well, we're in our 30s.
Yeah, sure we are. Once upon a time.
When one of these movies came out, I think I was in my 30s.
Oh, I am joined by the lovely Mariah.
Hello.
The Money Mariah, we call her, and also from lands far away, but not too far, Mr. Patrick. Welcome, Patrick.
Hello, sister and cousin. How are you?
Hi.
I'm quite good.
Never better.
Oh, sister cousin. So we
Sister cousin.
have to do...
Sounds messy.
It does sound messy. We keep the bloodline pure in this family. So, folks, we have done this before, but never so strict. We are doing a top 10 list because if we've learned anything from the internet, you can't be on YouTube unless you have a top 10 list. So we are going
And there's not
do
enough
this.
top 10 lists out there.
No, there really isn't. I just wish that some other, channels would just like dive into that. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was just like maybe one YouTube channel that did nothing but top 10 lists? Wouldn't it be
amazing if there was just one top 100 movies of all time list and not 82,000 that don't really agree with each other at all?
At all. It's the best. Actually, that's kind of my favorite thing. So even though it's not really a hot take, I think we're going to still do hot takes and cold brews because this is How to Be a Movie Snob, and we are all partaking in the hot takes.
And it's
cold
something
brews.
we say
Chink,
every time.
chink to Pat far away. So,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost. Who wants to go first?
Not it.
We can do it.
Go for it, Pat. Hot takes from Pat.
So, my hot take is that I have a hard time deviating from basically the movies that made up my youth, both nostalgic or just like I experienced them at important or influential times in my life, but they're not necessarily as highfalutin as they could be. I would say they're all good for sure, but the hot take I have is I'm maybe a little basic.
Pumpkin spice latte over here. Maybe we just call him PSL from here on out. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like pumpkin spice lattes.
No, you just represent
coffee.
it in the
Or coffee.
or coffee for that matter.
Does that make me more or less basic? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you like boba cha, that bubble tea?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. My hot take is that Pat's not alone. Every movie snob in the world is just trying to be cool with whatever the times are. Because when you look at some of these lists and you see what movies dropped out from the top 100, it's hilariously trying to not say like, oh, I don't think this movie's good because it doesn't quite go with what's politically correct anymore. Because I saw a lot of those ones fall.
I did drop one this time.
Does it mean that those movies are not as well made? I would say probably not. People are just afraid to be bold in their choices. So Pat, you're not alone, buddy. You're not alone. But
I thought you meant he wasn't alone because there's a dog on his couch.
Also, we have the fourth member of our podcast this week. It is Wrigley.
Yeah.
Wait, was it Shay? Is Shay the name of the dog? Shay's
yeah.
That's even an old reference.
It's not a bad name.
And this
for a
is
dog,
now
but
our
no.
last podcast with Seth.
Please. We spent twice you and lost twice as many.
Indeed.
So, baseball side, Mariah, what is your hot take doing these lists?
I think my hot take is I still am out of tune with myself. I don't know what I like. I think I like everything a bit, and I don't know what's more or less. I don't understand value, I guess. Hot take.
I love that this has turned into an existential crisis for Mariah. This is now going to be the seventh Steel starring
I'm so
Mariah.
unaware.
Oh, where's the kooky jester to tell us what's going on now?
Playing chess against your own psyche to determine what you like.
This list really took a lot out of me.
Who am I?
Do I like anything? I don't know.
No.
I think as I was trying to like work through the list, I found myself, much like we do in the podcast, like convincing myself something is better than my watching was, and it's like, oh man, well this has all this meaning or value, but did I like it as much? I don't know. Yeah. And it's hard to tell.
I had a lot of hard conversations with myself today.
Folks, not only are we a movie podcast, but we are therapy.
Yeah.
We are therapy to
I got a little out of this.
When you guys went through this list making process, because this was the big thing, we've actually made this list. We recorded it about a year ago, but we only posted about 7 months ago.
But we did 20.
Yeah, we did 20 movies since then. Oh, yeah.
No, that was the list. It was a 20 list, not a 10.
The big thing we left off on our last episode where we had a top 20 list was we're excited to see how the movies we watch influence our list making. So before we reveal, do you feel the movies that we watched influenced your list this time?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Not as much as I thought they would.
Okay.
Yet.
Or did they help cement what you already knew?
They solidified some choices.
Nice.
So that helped.
Yeah, I actually had a movie that was on the list that I dropped since the rewatch a little bit because, again, through the modern lens, is like,
sorry,
I don't love this part of this.
Sorry, Nosferatu, off the top 10.
I thought it was going to stay up there forever.
I think it did, though. There's something to like trying to have a little bit of like diversity of genre, although of course I did not hit all the genres,
right?
And even trying to pick stuff that not only I liked but had some cultural significance. I think that was definitely a part of it, or being able to at least argue some of that stuff
for sure
for myself. So there is a snobbiness that went into like, oh, I like that I have this director in this list, or I like, It definitely impacted the list. It wasn't just a pure enjoyment list, which would lean heavy horror comedy for me, probably. It became a like, no, I actually, really liked how this movie made me feel or made me think, or I viewed movies after it. Like, a lot of that stuff made it.
Spoiler alert, it's nothing but Ace Ventura, Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy for Pat. That's all three on this list.
Yes,
Dirty Work.
Dirty Work. Oh, Dirty Work would be a dope pick for this. Oh, that'd be amazing.
There's dead hookers in every trunk.
I can't believe all the dead hookers I'm seeing. Rest in peace, Norm. You were the best.
Oh, Norm.
Okay, so I think I am going to throw... I enjoyed your list so much last time, Mariah. I kind of want to make you go first because
I can do it.
Your list last time was very fun and surprising on a lot of levels. And since you are unapologetically one genre heavy, I'll be interested to see how much of that genre you stuck with. For in case you don't know what it is, it's Western. Well, it's Western-ish, but
none are true.
Yeah.
A little. Yeah. Let me just tell you.
Okay. So guys,
I'm just gonna
without further ado, this is Miss Mariah's top 10 list of all time.
Currently today.
Let's see if I have a sound check.
This hour.
Like this second. Hold on.
In this hour. Tomorrow morning.
No, that's
yes. Thank you.
There we go. I think that was
It's a pleasure being here. Okay. These are in no particular order because the existential crisis would get much worse if I was forced to put these in an order.
Agreed.
Okay?
100% agree.
All right. With some certainty,
Okay.
here goes.
Okay. I'm writing these down.
Ooh.
Yeah, you seem very confident.
Yeah.
I got my pen ready. I'm excited.
Shawshank Redemption.
Solid.
Oh.
That stayed on the list.
Nice. Okay.
The Philadelphia Story
Stayed
on the
Nice.
list. The Godfather
Nice.
1.
Okay.
I think I was consistent on that also.
Nice.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Ugh.
Consistent.
Very good.
Star Wars A New Hope.
Oh, the OG, the
Yeah.
original. Okay.
I wavered back and
see that.
forth.
Yep.
The Quiet Man
Mm.
because
There he is.
it's just my favorite.
Yep.
John Wayne and John Ford.
John Wayne, John Ford.
It crossed
You
two
have to
off my
have
list.
the two Johns for Mariah.
Yeah.
Mariah's had her fair share of Johns.
So many
Oh, wait.
Johns.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Moving on. Cool Hand Luke.
Family podcast.
I was going back and forth between that and Sundance,
Yeah.
but
Old Butch.
I picked Cool Hand Luke. I kind of went the snobbier, maybe I evaluated and said, it's got more.
Yeah.
Although
more snobby
cinematography
clout,
wise, I would maybe pick Butch and Sundance. I don't know.
but more fun.
Today,
Butch and Sundance, it's like a weirder movie.
it's
When
sillier.
you rewatch, you're like, it's a lot of like anachronisms.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
Yeah.
what year is this supposed to be?
Yeah, and movie snobs do not like it as much as Cool Hand Luke. That's for
No,
sure. And
I
if this
mean-
is what I'm striving for, I pick Cool Hand Luke.
The bicycle scene alone.
I appreciate it.
Questionable.
Yeah. And then I had to pick a true musical.
Oh, which one? Which one?
And for that reason, I didn't pick Singing in the Rain.
burn!
I went with South Pacific.
Get out of here.
Because I think I watched it more than any other musical growing up.
Get out of here. Over Singing in the Rain.
Yes.
Wow.
Also, it made me even more happy that I picked it because the director is also the director of Paint Your Wagon,
Oh my gosh.
which is one of my favorite movies that I can't admit is my favorite.
Sure.
One of my favorite movies. So I thought I'm sneaking it in a little bit. Lord of the Rings.
All right, little fun fact. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Paint Your Wagon reference, which I think I've told you this before, Mariah, but Kimberly's grandfather helped build sets for Paint Your Wagon.
So he literally painted the wagons.
In Baker.
I don't think he actually painted the wagons. Yes, they drove down there and like basically camped out. And I think he was running a backhoe and stuff for a while, but he was involved in the making of the movie.
I'm
That's the
gonna say
coolest.
he helped paint the wagons on
I
Paint
think
the Wagon. 'Cause
they're-
that's
They're
it's
really
a
just
stretch.
I mean,
they're really
he
just
might have.
dirt
Yeah.
colored.
Yeah, he probably did that.
Not
with
a lot of
probably-
painting
Probably
involved.
threw a little
Could've been.
backhoe dirt on there. Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
that's like it's a time.
Lord of the Rings, The
Okay.
Fellowship,
Original, good.
and The Wizard of Oz.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I kept The Wizard of
kinda
Oz.
surprising
Nice.
to me.
Is it?
Okay, so let's go through that.
Yeah.
What is the most
And
surprising?
not because I watched The Wizard of Oz. So I did watch it so much as a child, but I feel like I appreciate it even more as an adult, or maybe through my child's eyes, or something has kind of brought it back for me.
Okay, so before we go on, do we want to go all three lists and then talk about what surprised us, or do we want to talk
Or do you
about
want to
surprises?
come at me with?
No, I want to criticize Mariah a little first.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. What's the most
Let's
surprising
go.
for you on her top 10 list?
Well, honestly, South Pacific, I guess, is a little bit
Yeah.
surprising. Not surprised you put a musical. I guess I'm surprised it's that one.
Well, today it is.
Over
it is
red
today.
shoes. Over red shoes.
Over red shoes. Yeah.
Like if I think about our childhood, maybe Meet Me in St. Louis or
Yes.
Very good.
But I also put that in a separate, holiday movie category. And I feel
right,
like,
or
for that
yeah, of
reason,
course.
like A Wonderful Life
White
would never
Christmas.
make it on my list. I guess.
I
I don't know.
What holiday is Meet Me in St. Louis? I don't even remember. Is it
all the
Christmas?
holidays.
Like Christmas.
Oh, is it like?
But Christmas, yeah.
Is it like Holiday Inn, where it's like literally all the holidays?
A little bit.
You don't want to talk about.
You
a
go
couple
through
of
all
them?
the seasons.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
There's a Halloween scene.
Oh,
There's,
good.
You
Is
know,
there Old Abraham and President's Day? Good.
There's no
okay. Phew.
blackface and Meet Me in St. Louis.
So, I'm not surprised by this, but I think Shawshank Redemption to me, like most people, didn't hit in the theaters, right? It's like a TNT.
Oh, 100%. Nobody's
playing during the day thing.
Yeah,
Nobody
I think
saw
availability got people watching it, and once I did, I've watched it so many times to the point where we bought the
Of
DVD.
course.
We've watched it over and over and over and over.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty.
I do really like that movie.
The story
I love the storytelling.
aspect is amazing.
Yeah,
Would you
and the acting.
And it, I mean,
Great cast.
other than Driving Miss Daisy, it kind of made the Morgan Freeman narrative like legendary. It made it beyond. I think because isn't it the same troupe in Driving Miss Daisy? He's also the narrator in that too, or is it more so from Shawshank? Because Shawshank's what
for sure he narrates Shawshank.
Yeah, because Shawshank is like every commercial that
Andy
makes.
Dufresne.
Yeah,
you know,
oh
and
my
you're
gosh.
like, heck yes, I want to listen to what happened to Andy Dufresne.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and it's not my favorite Morgan Freeman movie, probably. You know, I think I'd prefer
March of the Penguins.
Kiss the Girls would have been the one I would pick.
I thought you were.
It's the girls.
Or Along Came a Spider. Both of them.
Or the
Great.
Steve Carell classic, the Noah and the Ark movie.
Heaven Almighty.
Heaven Almighty.
Yeah, for sure. It was on one of my scratch pads for sure.
Or a Lego movie.
But
Oh, Lego movie's amazing.
I
mean, he's great.
So-
I think the story got me. I love that, you know,
I can't
it's
believe...
Stephen King. Stephen King's stories are great.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, Shawshank.
So there's
Yeah, for
partly
sure.
that, but I just loved how it's told. I loved the acting. I don't think the cinematography won me over, but
Oh, yeah, but
I mean,
who cares?
it
It's
looks good.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I think it just, to me, what is the surprising part, and I think this is dumb, but it feels like a TV movie to me because that's how I experienced it.
Oh.
And so I kind of forget about it in that way, where it was never this cinematic film.
Sure.
Oh,
It
dude.
became this great movie.
Which is
you
why
watch
you're
on TV.
pigeonholed into
Yeah,
the
dude.
newer
It's-
movies that you did see in the theater.
It's kind of hard to. You just can't see beyond your surroundings, Pat. You
Well,
can't.
yeah,
You know, it's
I
hard.
think it's a great.
mean,
I think
Take
it's a
your
great pick.
blinders off, Pat.
It just sort of surprised me.
it's just like Spirited Away all over again. Okay, I gotta
I
go
didn't
back
see
to,
Wizard of Oz in the theater either.
You didn't?
You just all your friends were seeing it though. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
I was just told about it, and
No,
I
But
waited.
I bet you didn't see as many commercial breaks when you watched the Wizard of
That's
Oz.
true. The commercial breaks
Shawshank.
would kill you.
No,
See, and
that's for sure true.
we didn't have cable, so I never watched it with commercial breaks. I only saw it on DVD. So for me, it was always a movie. So
Pure.
I don't have that experience of you guys. South Pacific. Let's go back. Sing in the Rain. We literally went over it, and we got the dancing's great, but it's South Pacific's still a better movie
The
to you.
songs are better, much
I
much
get
better,
that.
and every single one is great.
I get that, but Moulin Rouge songs are maybe better than that. But you know, like it's
Sure.
not the better movie.
Yeah, it is the better movie.
Okay.
It's got
Okay,
a lot
cool.
of
That was-
it's got
that
some
was my argument.
action, you know,
Okay,
World War
okay.
II. It's
There we
on
go.
it's in the South Pacific. There's comedy, there's drama, there's, you know,
Yeah, I
it's
love it.
got a lot.
So that was my only big question mark. Shawshank, I totally go for. I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth. Go ahead, kill me now. I get it. It's that good. I know it's amazing.
You should see Pan's
I
Labyrinth.
know. We've had this conversation last time
You really
too.
should.
It's on the list.
It's his.
Best
I
ever.
think it's even snobbier than Shape of Water.
Right. I've heard it is. I hear it's like the
One, because it's in Spanish. And so
yeah,
that,
for
you know,
sure.
makes
For
it-
sure. That
Yeah.
makes it more
It's
snobby.
little
also
bit more
my only
snobby.
foreign film, I believe.
Oh yeah, it is. Lord of the Rings was in New Zealand.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay, so this is my favorite thing about your list. You pick Lord of the Rings 1. You pick Star Wars 1.
I'm a
and
purist.
you picked Godfather 1. I love those so much because of how much impact all of those movies had coming out. And I get annoyed by Return of the King. because
all
really,
of the number twos were really close, literally close seconds.
Really, even Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. Because Lord of the Rings has that whole like section of like Sam gets kind of annoying.
Towers?
Yeah, Sam gets a little obnoxious in 2
But for sure, the first one.
Samwise he gets a little tough.
Yeah, but the rest of the 2 Towers.
So to me, I 100% agree with that. I think my first version of my list had Star Wars on it. I won't spoil my current list, but there's a lot of like pull to like. But Empire's such a better movie.
Whoa, yeah. Let's slow down. We'll get to that conversation.
You know, like, but I guess it is like, to me, that's.
I think either one of those was the right choice.
Yeah,
elevating the cultural moment that was Star Wars. I think over that, it's not the best Star Wars movie, right? Like it just was. Yeah, we don't get any of the other ones without it.
Yeah, there's no pod racing with Anakin, so obviously not the best. Like,
no,
where's Jar Jar? Am I right?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean it's not the original Star Trek, whereas
the motion picture,
the motion picture.
Oh, it's so bad. As self-proclaimed Trekkies, I acknowledge that.
V'ger.
Ouch.
It is so bad.
I am V'ger. Okay,
so. We did Pat's list last time, so should we give him second?
Oh, let's just mix it up, Seth.
Okay,
mix it up.
Go for it, Pat. We are gonna bring you in.
Good list, Mariah.
Because you guys know, great list.
There's so many close. I mean, I could switch so many of them out.
Which ones was the hardest? The ones that you like stressed over the most?
There are some that are just. Oh gosh. Train Spotting got real close.
Really?
Oh, that I could see that on your list. Yeah.
The Shining was pretty close.
I still get nightmares from Train Spotting. Ugh.
So good.
The Baby on the Ceiling.
Yeah, Untouchables. I almost put on the list.
Ooh.
I really love that movie. Like there was just a lot of Goodfellas. I almost thought, oh, do I want this more than Godfather? But no, because I want Godfather.
Good for you.
But I love Goodfellas.
Good for
I don't know. There was just a lot of Silence of the Lambs, 7. There's some really, and like that's the thing. It's like I could have gone back to the 90s and stuck with those.
Oh, I could have made a top 10 list from the 90s.
Yeah,
totally happy.
I don't know if I could have done 10
totally
from the
happy.
90s.
Yeah,
it would have been hard too.
No, I could easily do that.
But there was, for me, it was I wanted to pick different eras. I wanted to have different kind of influences and mix it. The diversity. I went with diversity, I guess.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I love it. It's a great list.
I feel bad about some of the ones I left behind.
So. Yeah. They're with you in spirit.
They are. They are.
Okay, Pat. Let's bring us your list. We're excited for the 10. We remember shades of your 20, so we'll see what you got for the 10.
Yeah. Which I think was like 13 or something.
Yeah,
I don't know that I even had 20.
It's,
And now I'm like 30 that I can't condense. So, I'll start with maybe the one I agonized over the most. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Gosford Park, which I think was on my other one.
Good movie.
That's a good one.
So, Robert Altman, and the cast is insane. I forgot how insane the cast was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched a clip today, and I was like, "Holy cow! I forgot that all these people were in this movie."
Was that the most
fun? It's not a good-looking movie. It is kind of ugly. It feels like a little bit BBC,
which is kind of
in
perfect
terms
for
of
Gosford
quality.
Yeah,
but man, the acting in it. It's funny in that weird British way. It's a murder mystery. So it's touching on these, growing up in an Agatha Christie house. But a little edgy in a way that I liked, and you throw Bob Balaban in there and you're like, hey, we're touching on Christopher Guest-iness, going on. Anyway. I couldn't let it go.
We got to interrupt. Was it so much fun just thinking through scenes as you pick these movies?
Mm-hmm.
Because I realize when I think about movies, I don't think about the movie in its entirety most of the time. You think about favorite scenes. So I think we'll have to go through that, some of our favorite scenes, period, at the end of this, because I think that does it really does change the way it impacts us when we think about these movies. Because I don't think about all those parts of certain movies.
The things that bring you back.
Yeah, bring you back. Okay, sorry, Pat. Continue.
Well, and I think I'm probably going to talk too much about each of these. But I think the other thing with Gosford Park was like that was the first one. I feel like I came too separate from like Mom watching a murder mystery. It was like,
oh, you actually
watched Gosford Park,
and you didn't feel weird about it. Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, it was like I'm an adult, you know,
kind of, but not a cool one. No,
no. And then, oddly enough, same year, 2001, Amelie still made my list
nice.
From last time. And again, rewatching it, it's like it is as if Wes Anderson made a French film. You know,
Very
like there's
good.
a lot of the same
Very
sensibilities.
Well said. Yep.
He's so adorable. It's like a cute, quirky story, and it got me to be like, oh yeah, I like foreign films. You know, I didn't know I did, but like, this is wonderful and delightful movie. You know, it's about like loneliness and imagination. Anyway, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Rear Window, I kept on my list, which we watched. Again, I think it's like such a good thriller premise.
The way
getting a Hitchcock
the way he holds that camera, it just gets me. He's so good. Like, you know, he's like I'm holding this camera so perfectly. Sorry,
he might not be the best photographer in the world, but the movie.
It's not your list.
I don't know.
It's not my list.
With that helicopter.
Oh, that was the
shot
best
at the very
part.
beginning.
Oh, that was so good. I forgot about the helicopter.
But I still like just really like it, and I got it. I had to have a Hitchcock.
I was gonna say, was this your one Hitchcock? Was this the one? The
That's
only?
my one
nice.
Hitchcock. Yep.
I'm glad one of us got one.
I had some on a list. They didn't. He didn't make it.
And it had Grace Kelly in it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, bonus.
Pat's
doesn't
love
hurt.
She's dead, dude. You gotta let her go. You gotta let her go.
Oh yeah. Should I clarify that I picked the original Philadelphia
Princess.
Story movie, not the one
true.
with her in it?
Oh, okay.
There's
yeah,
a musical one with Fred Astaire and
Oh, I didn't realize that.
called something else.
It's true.
The next one, so I think previously I combined this movie with Butch Cassidy.
Oh wow. You guys both
Because
Butch.
same actors and director, but I went with The Sting.
Yeah.
I think when I thought about it, I enjoy The Sting more than Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
All right.
It's like, it's a heisty con movie again with charm up the wazoo. Like, all of it is just like, yes, give me more of this. And it's like an ensemble, despite having two of the biggest stars of the era. Yeah, really love that movie.
Nice.
I went 2001 for my Kubrick.
Of course.
Weird stuff, but man, parts of that movie are so good. Like, monkey costumes, little sketch, Star Child, pretty weird. But like the thriller in the middle of that, where Hal's freaking out, it's the greatest thing. And then just looked so pretty.
So good. No, it
it
changed
is like
sci-fi.
this is now sci-fi movies.
Sci-fi. It gave legs for sci-fi movies to stand on. Yeah. We wouldn't have anything else that we would take seriously without that movie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I mentioned him already, but the actual Wes Anderson movie, I went with the other 2001, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yep.
Yeah.
My third 2001.
No
Yeah,
argument.
That
like
would have been
kind
the
of
one I
my-
picked of his too.
I mean, I like a lot of his stuff, but that one just felt like the most... It's like the best combo of his quirkiness, but natural performances. Like, I believe all those characters, even
For
though
sure.
it's so weird.
You don't believe Life Aquatic?
No, and I love that.
I love
but
that you
it's
don't.
like,
Yeah.
He went more cartoon,
Yeah.
I think, post Tenenbaums, in a delightful way. But
Yeah.
I think that one just clicked for me.
Kind of literally with a fantastic Mr. Fox, actually. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really
This
went
next
that
one
way.
is a big catch-all for me. Jurassic Park.
I knew that's
I
what
knew it
you
was
were
coming.
going to
Yes,
say.
I'm so glad you picked
it
Jurassic
was on
Park.
my almost list
I'm
too.
so glad you picked it, Pat. I was literally
Yeah.
I was like, I hope Pat picks this one.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I knew Mariah.
Happy you
So-
did
I
it.
knew Mariah was going to wuss out, so I was really hoping you picked it. So that was
Yeah, we get Spielberg in there.
Yes.
You know, he had a few other in my like almosts. And this is also like the first big VFX movie I saw, and you know, this is pre Toy Story.
That
So you
didn't
get, like, the
look
birth of, like-
terrible.
It holds up today.
Today, it's still the best
looks
Jurassic
far
Park.
better.
It's still the best Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
By
It
far.
really is. It is.
Great, and it's a thriller, adventure, horror, like all the things I love.
And it changed everything. It was the movie. For people who aren't, in our 30s, is that what we're saying? We're in our 30s now? When it came out,
sure.
like the impact.
Well, when we recorded this to the release, there's some. I am the
Fuzzy
numbers
time.
person, but
Oh my gosh, Jurassic Park! It was
amazing.
It wasn't like
Was
Star
it
Wars
93?
cultural phenomenon, but it was
Yes.
it was
93.
mighty close.
Gosh,
And you
it
also
was
all
good.
of us who like grew up like loving dinosaurs, and then all of a sudden you have this movie that just
oh yeah,
just
just also making it tangible too, like the way they describe, like you're right, you can get DNA from a fossilized mosquito. This is plausible, you guys. This is not far off.
and still that the dinosaurs look so good. I just can't get over how
Yeah.
good.
They look good.
In that-
Is it
in
scientifically
92?
accurate?
No, not even close.
But it's great.
I believed
And
it.
you have an amazing Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum.
Killing it.
Holy cow!
Oh, not to mention Samuel
And-
Jackson, mother effer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Newman.
Hold on to your
Newman.
Oh, Newman's in it.
Come on.
It's great.
Every part, and hello, Salem, Oregon, the young girl. That's where she's from.
Ooh.
She's a local baby.
Well, I'm
She
not
still
sure I
lives
would have
there.
picked her for my representative of the cast, but
Hey,
But, you
anyone
know.
from Oregon's, kind
It's
of a
fine.
local. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Jurassic Park.
okay.
We love we
Towards a lot of bases.
Pat. That's
Thank you.
That's
Thank
like
you.
we're so glad you. I'm not
He
gonna
still
lie.
has 2 more.
I'm not gonna lie. This feels like a top 30 list, and we
I got
all.
3 more.
I think we're all just picking because we know the other
1,
person's
2,
not gonna
3.
pick them.
Oh, Pat's not one of them.
Pat?
I can't.
No.
I'm
It's
not
Pat.
a numbers person.
It's Pat. Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't
I
it? It's
did
Pat. a
not,
movie?
yeah, and I didn't care for that movie when it came out.
No,
because
weird.
I feel like it gave me a bad rep. I should give it another chance. Right.
It would
Curious how
play different
cancelable it is
in 2020.
these days.
It's a mystery.
For those who don't know, Pat is a character that is gender androgynous. No
Yeah,
one knows.
ambiguous,
And That's
yeah.
the whole premise. What is Pat?
Yeah.
Who is Pat? Halloween is
Dang,
on
Pat.
my list.
That dude.
Got a John Carpenter in there.
Pat.
It could have been the
Oh,
thing, but I went with Halloween
Nice.
as it is like the classy modern slasher.
Yeah.
And just like great score. The cinematography super scary, and it's just like a template movie. And what a creepy thing the Shape is, which we later, called Michael Myers, but he was the Shape.
Yeah. Right. Oh, wow, you probably love that pick, huh? Freaking horror film.
Well, it made me think of another one that I maybe would have put really close to the top 10 is Misery.
Oh.
For like original
great movie.
scariness
Another
movies.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have done a 10 Stephen King list too.
Yeah. Then this is maybe a debatable one. Moneyball.
Okay.
This is in I just really like watching that movie. It is a, new era sports feel good underdog story that takes a lot of liberties with the actual facts.
A lot of
man,
but
is it-
so did the book.
Yeah, but it leaving out like the Cy Young
Yes,
pitchers and
exactly right.
all-star shortstop and
Yeah.
any number of things from that team. But it's such a fun you can outsmart any problem you have.
Yeah,
Except until
exactly
you can't. Until the Yankees just still spend more money than you. But
Or they
I
hire, and the Red Sox do too.
You liked
infinitely-
getting the old guys off the table.
oh, those,
it's infinitely rewatchable to me.
I have rewatched that on like clips on YouTube every time. Every time it comes up my social media feed, I can't help but watching it. And the scene that I watch the most, because this is one of the most rewatched scenes I've ever watched in my life, is when he points to Jonah Hill and says, "And that is, oh, what did you want me to?" Yeah, when I point to you,
when
could
I
you give me the
point at
number?
you.
Like that scene, that is like the scene I'll watch over and over again without fail. Moneyball might be my number one sports movie of all time.
Ooh.
It's very good.
Because it's so rewatchable. And is it? Yeah, because I was thinking about sports movies, man. There's usually a big gaping flaw in all of them. But Moneyball plays all the way through. It's kind of like, this is a terrible reference, but it's kind of like Ocean's 11 of baseball. It's just very enjoyable ride the whole way through. It's not as like cheesy campy as Ocean's 11, but the whole time you're very entertained. The whole time the dialogue's great. And I get to look at Brad Pitt in both movies. You know, that's the thing about it. Brad Pitt.
I have arguments with both of those decisions that you just made.
So that's awesome. Okay, I can't. This is great. Okay, Pat. Next one.
One
next
more?
You
one.
want to chime in? On
You have,
your-
you
Not
have
yet.
one more.
No, we got
right?
it.
What's the
last
finale?
Arrival.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah,
it.
I knew you'd have to
I
keep
knew you were
that one.
sticking with
Then
it.
You couldn't do it.
Denis Villeneuve, and he could have had many movies on my
Yeah.
list because I really do love him. Man, the acting, the storytelling in that movie, everything, even though they've grown on me, the design of the aliens have grown on me, but everything but those, I'm like, this movie is...
I need to
fantastic.
rewatch it because I do remember really enjoying the acting and the story, but I guess I need to redo it because I don't know.
Yeah, I
Didn't
had no,
get me yet.
I had no idea what I was getting into when I saw it in theater. I just literally showed up and I'm like, oh, this is really good. Mm-hmm. And then I got nominated. I'm like, oh yeah, I should win stuff because it's like really good. But I didn't know. I knew nothing about the director. I knew nothing about what he's done before. I knew the actors, of course, but I was like, oh, this is really good. It's subtle.
Very
It's
good.
not preachy. It's not like over the top. It's just smart.
And when you rewatch it, it all makes like it's a different layer of like
Understanding the
what they're doing
movie.
the thing,
Yep,
and you're
yep.
like, I get it, and it makes sense.
I think I watched it twice actually. I think I watched it once
I think that's good.
because I had it on Movie Pass, and so I watched it by myself, and then I took Megan the second time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think
Good stuff.
it's a good rewatchable thing because you see how much craft went into that crazy story, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway,
Great list,
blew me
Pat.
away.
Great list.
I-
Okay,
I-
Mariah, bring on the heat. I
No.
can't wait. Bring on the heat. First of all, Pat, who cares? Shut
I
up. Shut up.
wholeheartedly disagree with Moneyball as the greatest
So good.
sports, baseball, anything.
Yeah,
No
I
way.
mean,
I would put 8 Men Out way ahead of that.
Oh, really?
The Natural, way ahead of that. Bull
I
Durham,
don't
way
know.
ahead
Bull
of that.
Durham, I'll give you Bull Durham, but I'm not giving you.
I'd rather watch Raging Bull
Natural.
too. Again, if we're talking about sports
yeah, no,
movies.
well, Raging Bull's amazing.
you just really hate Moneyball?
I don't hate it, but I feel I'd rather watch For Love of the Game.
Oh, gross.
Like,
No. Oh,
I feel like
gross.
the
No.
whole
I do like
dad-daughter
Wow.
relationship in Moneyball is so cheesy and so awkward that I think I focused a lot on that piece.
I think that's fine.
I
I
liked
forgot that
Jonah
part.
Hill a great deal in it. I liked the premise. I liked the old guys sitting at the table finding out that they're kind of irrelevant at this point.
They were the best parts. The scouts were
The
so
guys
good.
at the
Does he have
table
an
I
ugly
liked.
girlfriend.
Oh,
he doesn't have any
so
confidence.
good.
Yeah.
And the Mets were
The old
featured
scout logic.
throughout the whole movie, so I
Well, that's
loved
why.
it.
That's why. But for me,
Yeah.
that's the only disagreement I had. I think
And
I
that's
think
fair.
it's a
I think that
great
one is,
list.
Well, and
That one was really like, I just constantly go back to that movie.
But yeah, that's the thing. If you
Personally.
watch it
I
over and
wonder-
over again, why wouldn't you put that
oh
on
my
your
gosh,
list?
I wonder if it's a male female, like what you got from the movie, because I totally forgot about the daughter relationship.
Yeah,
Like,
the daughter kind of annoyed me,
I was
to be honest.
I was like, oh, I bought a guitar, that's cool, but no one got that guitar. You know,
Well, it
like of
just
course.
wasn't- yeah, it wasn't just her though. It was his.
Da, da, da,
The way they
I remember
worked
the song though.
together, like the whole scene where they're in the car and she's playing, like that's like the song is sweet.
Yeah,
but I
song was
just
sweet.
don't like how the relationship
Interacted.
was too weird for me.
And you didn't need it, to be honest. Like in the movie,
No.
you didn't really need it. Like, I mean, it was the linchpin that kept him in Oakland supposedly, but no, it wasn't. It was like
Sure.
it was. They gave him teen
The other
ownership.
thing that movie gets me from a snobby thing is Aaron Sorkin.
Mm. Nice.
And I
That's
do like
fair.
me some Aaron Sorkin.
And that's fair. No, I thought it was I thought the because really not that much happens in it. It's just a lot of talking in back rooms. And when you're that enthralled with it, I thought it was just great. Like it just
Well,
very
and it's
entertaining.
like a season I was very invested in too.
Baseball. That's true.
Well, and if you like Gilmore Girls, you'll like Moneyball.
I can't argue that. I would if I could. Royal Tenenbaums. I can't believe I'm fighting against this right now, but Royal
Come on.
Tenenbaums
Okay.
is the most accessible Wes Anderson movie. Meaning, I
Yes.
would show anybody.
That's
agree.
true,
So
but it's still a great pick.
usually I would pick either not Bottle Rocket because that's like way before he gets his style set up. Yeah. Rushmore.
student filmy.
I chose Rushmore over Tenenbaums on my top 20 list.
Yes, you did.
And the other one would be, of course, the Grand Budapest Hotel, because that's arguably his most critically acclaimed one as well.
And that's very good.
And Moonrise Kingdom was critically acclaimed, just barely below that as well, because it was
I'll be honest. I
That
haven't
one, like,
watched the Grand
got lost in the
Budapest
shuffle.
Hotel.
Oh, you haven't? Oh man, freaking Ralph Fiennes. Ugh, he's so good.
I like him a great deal. Go Voldemort.
Voldemort. He's arguably more evil in Grand
Go
Budapest Hotel. No?
Voldemort, she says.
Go Voldemort.
She's Hufflepuff. That's the weird thing about that. It's fun to call you
Yeah, I can
Hufflepuff.
see it's.
That's
Yeah, to your
another
point, Seth,
episode.
it's not.
Oh, you don't no issue with the Sting, Mariah? You're cool with the Sting?
I'm okay with the Sting. I think
Okay.
anybody picking a Newman is a good choice.
Okay. He's
Because he is so charming.
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Everything he's in.
Oh, freaking charming.
okay.
Well, and it's Newman Redford also. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
even
not
just,
just
a Newman.
Newman, it's
Right.
both
Newman
of them
Redford, yeah.
still.
That's true.
In a heist movie. Mm-hmm. Like to me, like it's if the things you like about Butch Cassidy, I feel like you like about The Sting, but it's a more structured story. Where Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid is pretty meandering.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're kind of in love with this girl, and he's gonna ride a bike around.
That was so
you know.
dumb. the bike ruins
you
the
know,
whole
you're
movie.
like- yeah,
It's
you're
like
what's going on?
it's like Tombstone and the female lead.
Tombstone.
If it wasn't
I should
for
have that nearly
Tombstone,
on my list
well, the
too.
female lead
Dang
is
it.
literally the one reason why it can't make my top anything, because she's so obnoxious. But the rest of
She's
that
pretty
movie
obnoxious.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer's arguably best movie. Kurt Russell's arguably best movie.
You don't
Sam
don't like
Elliott's-
Dana Delaney? Did you not watch China Beach?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've seen it thanks to my
Sister.
I
heavily female.
loved China Beach.
Also, yes,
It was a show about Vietnam. It's like the
Yeah.
answer to MASH
ladies. Yeah, but it was
of
ladies.
the
centric,
80s,
basically.
90s. Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
lady. It was
I
lady
didn't hate
heavy.
it.
Okay.
And yeah, Dana Delaney, she did a great job. But it's a weird role that you're like, I want to just see.
I think Billy
Wider.
Zane was worse,
Oh, Billy Zane's the worst.
He was bad.
but I love that movie.
Okay, I got one more issue,
I
Pat.
just want to see Wider, wreck the
Yeah, the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly right. Okay, Pat, I got one more issue. It's not even a good issue. Why Rear Window over North by Northwest, over Psycho, over
the Birds.
The Birds. There's so many. Because I get it. We watched
Marnie.
Rear Window, and it's very Hitchcock. I get it.
Yes.
But I don't think it's the most entertaining.
I just really, I get it. I get all those things.
Yeah.
I agonized a little over it. Vertigo.
Yeah, Vertigo
if you wanna
arguably is
pick another
his
Jimmy
best.
Stewart,
Yeah, Vertigo's arguably his best ever.
I think I love
North by Northwest was pretty great.
Yeah, those
it's
ones
like
go back
a
and forth.
bottle. It's like a bottle movie. Right?
Bottle
Like, the
episode. That's
set
great.
Is I just feel like he did so much with this
So little,
concept
yeah.
in a way that I love,
That's fair.
and it's tense.
It's
Yeah, it's like they're camping the whole time because it's intense.
Yeah. And again, Grace Kelly.
Dad joke.
Throw Grace Kelly in there. She's gonna It's going to add some points.
That's true.
Can we get a red alert
I know we should have
for dad
we have
jokes?
a Grace or a Grace Kelly count.
Or a
Grace Kelly. I don't have a lot of those. Honestly, I haven't seen a ton of Grace Kelly, but Rear Window stands
That's
out.
fair. No, that's good. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay.
I'm
that
okay
one
with
just
that choice.
sits in my head as like, I just keep going back to that. I think
love that.
because of
It's not my favorite
That's all.
Hitchcock, but it's great.
I just wanted to argue a little bit to get you a little back and forth why you chose
love
that. Arrival, Ryan, I just don't. I am fine with because it's kind of out there. I like how different that is.
I don't disagree. I
It's
just
my
want to
newest.
rewatch
Yeah,
it.
and I also like that you picked a horror movie. So, and Halloween was a little surprising over The Shining, or a little surprising over Alien, but it's still like one of the standard ones. So that's fine with me. I haven't seen Halloween, which is super embarrassing.
I picked it over Alien because it came out earlier, by a year. So
we should have done that.
not a lot
Alien
earlier.
first. Oh.
And I think when I think about Alien, like I love Alien,
Yeah,
but it's like pretty messy. It's like a messy
it's very
movie. I think it's just so iconic in all these amazing ways that make up for the messiness. And Halloween to me is just so genre
Classic
defining.
slasher.
yeah.
Why not
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th?
Not,
Why not Nightmare
well,
on Elm Street?
I'm not a big Freddy guy, to be honest. Freddy's a little too weird, jokey. Like it leans into like Leprechaun territory, where it's like
Why
these
not
aren't teeny
Leprechaun?
jokes. Because Leprechaun's not very funny. Seth can't take this out here.
He can't. He's scared already.
Well, Friday the 13th, I mean, the original does not even have Jason in it. I mean, it has Jason as a little boy who dies, but he's not the antagonist. He doesn't show up till 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those movies are more like
The teen scream.
they're rip-offs of Halloween. It's just like, let's make Halloween a summer camp. Like, they're more pulpy, and I do enjoy some of those. But Halloween, to me, is just the classiest, most refined version. And that score is freaking amazing.
It
Nice.
is very good. It's okay. I don't
I
disagree.
really
I
wanted John
just
Carpenter.
I just wanted to hear you explain yourself a little more.
Yeah.
Not that
The
I disagree.
Thing almost made it into my list, but I thought, no, I want to go more straight up slasher.
Cool.
Anyway.
Good
I
list.
might
Pat.
have a different top
That's a
10
good
tomorrow
list. I know. I could have a different top 10
before
after
we
I
go home.
do this top 10.
Yeah.
Because I see the ones I crossed out and I'm mad. Okay. All right. We're starting off with the least surprising one of all, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yep.
It is not snobby enough for most top 10 lists, but I don't care. I think it changed comedy. I think it is the reason why so many others came before it. Often people cite Airplane as the greatest comedy of all time, which I think is hilarious because there would be no Airplane with no Monty Python Holy Grail.
Most jokes per minute, maybe.
Maybe, but there
Airplane.
wouldn't be that movie without Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like, there's so many things that Monty Python changed
Inspired.
with no budget, and it still plays today. Like, by the way, coming out in theaters. If this podcast it comes out in theaters this December. So I think this podcast Monty Python is
Bring
being
your coconuts.
Monty Python Holy Grail, not Life of Brian. It's coming out. It's for the 38th and a half year. That's what they said, which is classic.
That's
Monty
the
Python.
best. Let's do it.
So good. I
like that pick stuff.
It's
good for you.
It will always be on my top 10.
One of us needed to.
Because it's one of the most influential movies for me ever, and I love that like literally the cameramen and our actors, and it's just like, let's just everyone do everything and just whatever we need to do.
So meta.
Oh, it's so good.
There's paper cutout animate, like it's the craziest movie, but it has
it's just nuts.
Strong structure.
Very strong structure.
Based off classic literature, and it's
references
insane.
to 1,000 amazing movies that we've talked about already.
Did you realize that one of the guys is American?
Yeah.
One.
Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam.
But he's from Montana. I didn't realize he was
The
like
animator.
the
He's the
most.
animator
Yeah,
director,
I knew
yeah.
he was the animator. I didn't realize he was like the most American. I just thought like, oh, they met him in New York or.
Yeah.
Which I think
would
they
say
did, but I don't think that. I didn't realize there was an
Do you
American.
want me to go with my least surprising picks first before I go to my most surprising picks?
Well, I just want to say, I think that is a snobby pick. That's a comedy snobby pick.
It's a really good snobby comedy.
I think it literally could have won the Oscar in 1975. And 1975 was a great a movie year. It was a great movie year, and it still could because of its influence. Yeah, no, I that's the one like I stand behind and like I'll fight for.
Yeah,
like
I
other
like
stuff,
it. You
you
should be
can
proud of
knock
that.
down every other.
I'm not arguing
Yeah, I'm
that
going
at
to
all.
ream you on everything else.
That's
But
fine.
that one I will
That's fine.
ream
But
you.
as long as I get Monty Python,
That's fine.
that's fine. I'm okay. Okay. The next one is the least cool pick because it's on every stupid top 10 list and it's usually the top 5. Citizen Kane. I've watched it a ton.
Okay.
It's literally been the movie that like when I started to get interested in making movies, I started to watch. And it's always been there, and it's obnoxious because it's always the top 3 or top 5. I found one list where it was like number 26, but usually it's top 3. Like it's
Because they
always top
forgot,
3.
and they're like, "Oh no!"
So-
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason. So that's number 2, the least surprising. My next least surprising movie that's top 3 is Casablanca. I could watch Casablanca over and over again. It's Bogart. It's storytelling at its best. There's nothing wrong with that movie. It's a perfect movie. Like it's just you just go from top to bottom. There's nothing like that doesn't hit. You got the guy from M. I mean, for crying out loud! If you got the actors, every actor,
Peter Lorre.
every actor is like
He's
a
great.
bit part is a great actor.
You
It's
could
just
say the same thing for the Maltese Falcon.
100%. But you know what's better than Maltese Falcon? Casablanca. Because I watched Maltese Falcon, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, but not as good as Casablanca. That's literally what I thought the whole time watching it.
Casablanca is like more of a story in Casablanca in a way.
And you're not
Right, like,
locked in a room
Maltese
the whole
Falcon
time.
is like, yeah, like
Oh my
what are
gosh.
we doing?
It's so low
Why are
budget.
we-
Maltese
any of us
Falcon,
doing any of this?
you
Is she
realize
lying
how
all
low
the time?
budget
Is this
it is.
all lies?
It's so funny.
Does she
Yeah.
know who
Get
she
a hold
is?
of yourself.
Get a,
Why are you
so
freaking out just
funny.
because there's a dead body in the other room?
I almost wish I saw Maltese Falcon before Casablanca because watching
Like-
it after Casablanca, I'm like,
Oh yeah, there's so
Okay,
much
it's
less
fine. It's
slapping
fine.
people around in this
fine.
one. Everybody's getting a hold of themselves. Okay.
Okay, this one is not snobby. It's a very fan-friendly pick. This is the movie that when no one can agree on a movie to watch, that everyone's okay with. Can you guess it?
I think you said this in the podcast that I re-listened to today, and I don't remember.
Pat, you get a guess.
Ghostbusters.
No, that's not bad, but Princess Bride.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
It was. He
that's a
did say
great
that in
one.
the last
Princess
one,
Bride.
too.
I've literally had arguments for
It's
like
for everybody.
30 minutes where no one could agree on a movie, but then we're like, what about Princess Bride? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so well done. Also, very meta, very funny. Storyline goes classic. Every character is perfectly weird and
Great cast.
obscenely
Christopher Guest.
obscenely
Billy
good cast.
Crystal.
Like every little part
so good.
has a superstar in it. Not just like a well-casted, weird-looking person like in every spaghetti western, but like a superstar playing a bit part. It's just nuts. So it's very much not snobby, but
think-
man, is it good.
I'm
It
okay.
really is, and you could argue from like every perspective what the movie is. It's a love story. It's
Yeah.
an adventure story.
Yep.
It's a comedy. It's
Yeah.
Oh, what are you, the grandpa right now? Talking to Fred Savage? Come on, what's going on right now? You got Columbo. You got...
yeah. But yeah, like he's right.
there
Like to me, the yeah, as you wish.
Even Fred
Like-
Savage has brought some charm to it.
Oh, I need to
Yeah,
go back
he's
to
great.
Mariah's list real quick. I want to applaud the Wizard of Oz pick. I didn't get to talk about that, but I was thinking about it because
Thank you.
Wizard of Oz,
Yeah,
Wizard of Oz is so quoted and saturated in not just movies but our culture. You quote it almost daily, 70 years after it was made.
It also inspired my favorite Broadway musical of all time, Wicked.
Okay, I thought you were going to say.
So I think
you were going to say The Wiz.
No, I'm sorry, MJ, but
I just heard a medley of like 4 Alphabas singing Defying Gravity. I'll send you after the podcast because it's great.
thank you.
Nice.
The
Sorry.
books too. I've read all of the books.
I was just
that
thinking
thing came out of. I love them all.
Princess
It's so
Bride
good.
and
The
Wizard of
universe
Oz.
of Wizard of Oz is great.
So when they were making Princess Bride, they literally said, "Let's make sure we don't make Wizard of Oz." Because what's going on with Pat right now? He's like looking at stuff.
Is Wrigley flying now?
No.
Oh,
You
Wrigley's
keep
like,
talking.
what? Am I flying?
Oh, there we go. Okay, so when they were making Princess Bride, they said, "Let's not make the Wizard of Oz," because the
'Cause
Wizard
you
of Oz
can't do that again.
No, because Wizard of Oz was not a success in the box office. It was only a success later.
Was Princess Bride a success in the
No,
box office? I was like,
so
that
the
would have been
irony.
worse, right?
So that's why Rob Reiner talks
Let's
about.
do worse.
They literally said we literally became Wizard of Oz. Oh, nice job, Pat.
It's like a deep cutty,
Ooh, that's
real
cool.
story comic of Wizard of Oz.
That's
It's beautiful
so awesome.
and very fun.
Finn and I got the
Talks about stuff they
Minalima.
cut out.
Pat, I got like 3 or 4 Wizard of Oz like stuff too. So by the way, my daughter's name's Dorothy. So
It is.
obviously I love the pick of
I
Wizard
can
of
see why
Oz.
We
you
bought the
like that.
Minalima version
Yeah.
novel of Wizard of Oz and read it front to back. And I as I was reading it, and it's the first time I've read Wizard of Oz all the way through.
Which is a freaky book, by the way.
Oh, loved
It's
it.
weird.
Finn loved it. And I loved all of like where they got all the stuff for Wicked. Like how he pulled those things out of the story
Right.
that weren't in the movie.
Deep cut. Anyways, so Princess
Sorry,
Bride
moving on.
is to me the next Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
It
Agreed.
is
Yeah,
so
it's a fantasy.
ROUS's.
It's a modern fantasy.
and
right?
I'm going to say not
Yeah.
just that, but the way it impacted culture. The way the Wizard of Oz impacted culture for the next 100 years is the way the Princess Bride impacted culture for the next 30 or 40
Mm-hmm.
because it's just saturated it without
Love
you can't help it.
Love it.
Well, and for those of you listening in the year 2090,
Something.
we experienced something recently called a pandemic. And during
Oh, that was so good. I'm
pandemic,
glad you're bringing this up.
a bunch of celebrities basically redid The Princess Bride in little at-home film segments, and it's
On their
Alexa,
iPhones, and it was a brilliance.
very.
Fun.
It's still
It's magic.
prescient to people
Yeah.
very recently.
Dare I say magical? Was it magical?
sure.
Because
It
when
is
I
magical.
watched it, I was
I
like,
love it.
Certainly.
I loved it. So I feel like it is the least snobby movie, but it needs to be. It deserves a place in the top 10. So yeah,
I think people
It's-
forget how good that movie is.
They-
I like that.
You're right. I
help.
want to put it on my list now.
yes.
I'm sorry, Mandy Patinkin, that I left you off. Darn it.
Okay, so we have gone with the least surprising top. What am I on? 4 right now.
You hit 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're only at 4.
The next one is this was the hard one. I went between the General, City Lights, but I stuck with Metropolis. And I stuck with Metropolis because of its. Well, no, Metropolis is what I had on my last list, but I really was tempted to go with the General, probably because of the train crash in Oregon. And I wanted to give shout out to Oregon. But the scale and the visuals of Metropolis are just obscene. They just especially since it was pre-Nazi Germany, you see these images that obviously they took from that to make and these huge scenes of people and buildings and mechanics and then C-3PO. There's just so many visuals.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's 1920s. It feels very 1920s, but yet it still feels futuresque. So no, I still stuck with Metropolis. Ugh. That was a hard one because I really enjoyed Buster Keaton. I really enjoyed Charlie Chaplin more than you fools because you guys don't like good movies.
I really like Buster Douglas.
Buster Douglas never goes down without swinging. The next one I picked. This is where we start to go off. No, we're still kind of on the other.
For those of you at home, Seth does not have a list of 10. He has
you wanna see my
stars
list?
and asterisks and lines.
Oh, boy.
And
So
a
this
whole
is-
lot of chicken scratch names. I still
This is
think he's
happening
deciding
live.
as he goes.
Yeah. He's just, what's the next movie
I at
I'll
least have
read?
2 separate papers with my other stuff on it.
We all think
Yeah,
differently,
then
folks.
he'll
It's
justify
okay.
it.
We'll
okay.
all think differently.
Just gonna pull this one right out of the hind.
And that's why DuckTales.
roll-
That's why DuckTales the movie. No,
I thought maybe the Goofy movie,
It's
would
okay.
make
Oh,
it in there.
yeah.
But, okay.
so good.
Soundtrack alone.
Okay, I'm gonna go the next one. Oh, this was
He's still deciding.
no, I didn't. It's got to start. Look, I got to start.
Oh,
next
there's
to
a
it.
star.
I had to pick Spinal Tap.
Oh,
and
2 Christopher guests.
oh, I didn't think about that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, the reason is why I went with Spinal Tap over because all of those mockumentaries ode to Spinal Tap. It's
Sure.
the original. If you
Yes.
watch Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, and even if you go with a different one like Drop Dead Gorgeous, they're all and even dare I say The Office, like all of these like deadpan
Anything.
that it's
Any
Spinal
mockumentary.
Tap, and I wanted to pick, Waiting for Guffman. I wanted to pick Best in Show, but then I thought one of my favorite ones of the new ones is A Mighty Wind, which we've talked about in the last podcast. And you know what The Mighty Wind is? It's Spinal Tap, but they're playing folk
Yes.
music. It's the same 3 people.
Our father genuinely just likes Mighty Wind because
of the music,
The music
yeah.
is so great. Not because he gets the
I
irony of it.
re-listen to what is it, Mickey and Mitch.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so good. It's so
A
good.
Kiss at the End of the Rainbow is a heck of a song.
It's a
It's so good.
It's a
It's a
doozy.
doozy.
It's a doozy. It's all so good. It's all so good.
It's all so good. So with that,
they have toured.
yes.
Yeah, and I wish I knew that was a thing when they did it because
Mm-hmm.
I would happily listen to them do cover or renditions of Spinal Tap songs and Mighty Wind songs and
All
whatever
day
new
long.
stuff.
With
It's
some
great.
backstory.
day.
This was written
I-
back in Canada.
I very much appreciate this pick, Seth.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. Any of them would have been great, but I like the
But
original pick.
This is your second Rob Reiner.
Yes, it's also my second Rob Reiner, and
Goodness.
it's crazy because when you think like, spoiler alert, I have no Kubricks.
I didn't put
I
one on, but I have it on my side
Have
list.
no Steven Spielbergs. I have
Same.
no John Ford. I have no. So there's all these amazing directors who I think arguably are a better director than Rob Reiner don't make my top 10 list. So is Rob Reiner underrated as a filmmaker?
Sure he is.
Probably because he made a bunch of.
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
great.
Spinal Tap,
Sleepless in
right?
Seattle.
3 things. I could put all 3 of those on a different top 10 list of like
For
movies.
sure,
that are just
best rom-com
great.
ever. Best.
Heck yes.
Oh my
When
goodness.
Harry Met Sally is amazing.
I gotta
Fantastic.
I'm going back to Mariah's list. I'm a little bummed you didn't have a John Hughes on your top 10.
I know.
I was really hoping you're gonna have John Hughes, but
Well,
I get.
would
I
that
had
be Breakfast
St.
Club?
Elmo's Fire and
Oh, really?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, not John Hughes, but
But still,
I
same,
had
feel.
those really close. Really,
That's
really
funny.
close. Not because of,
Over Breakfast Club.
yeah,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I appreciate
16 Candles.
the story.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate the darkness way more of St. Elmo's Fire.
Say anything. Is that John Hughes?
Yes.
So Pat, there's another one. I'm gonna rip on you now. I was really upset that you did not have anything animated.
Spirited Away?
No, that you didn't have Toy Story on there. I was really upset that you didn't have it on there.
Jurassic
When
Park.
you have to do 10, it's hard.
I
Jurassic
know,
Park
but
covered it for me.
I'm a little surprised
Existential
you
crisis.
didn't do Toy Story over Jurassic Park, or I don't know. Frankly,
I'm glad he picked Jurassic
I
Park.
thought you would pick Toy Story over Wes Anderson because you already had Amelie, and Amelie was kind of a ode to the style.
I could see that justification.
That was me. So, and
That's not what today
Do I
is.
have shame that I don't have a fully animated movie? Of course I do.
because
Of course I do.
who does have a fully animated movie in his top 10?
This guy.
Me. And I've changed my
Oh.
animated movie. It is no longer
Which is?
Princess Mononoke. It is
Spirited Away.
Mononoke.
whatever.
Because I can't pronounce
I
it.
can't pronounce
so I had
it.
to take it off
I'm sorry.
my list.
My Japanese is not as good as
Starring
my other
Buster
languages.
Douglas and Charlie Chapman.
Details are not my thing, people. I get the feeling of it.
Okay, what are you gonna throw in my face?
My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh.
Because I
'Cause he's
love
so
Spirited Away. I love Princess Mononoke because it doesn't resolve, which is very Asian. It like literally the end of that movie is like you started where you began. But when you and I gotta watch My Neighbor Totoro
changed.
on the big screen because I'm like, this is the same. This is just the same as those other two movies. It's just before them, and it sets the path for them. If it was,
Well, there's a cute bus.
it was so hard not to pick Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, though. It was literally My Neighbor Totoro and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Those were the two.
What
I
about
was
the
teetering
anime
before.
Little Women?
I didn't know that was a thing.
It sure was.
Ah.
We had it on Laserdisc.
Of course you
We
did.
watched it
That's
many
amazing.
times
Wow.
growing up.
Wow. So that was my big one because I realized those other ones are great and amazing, but they wouldn't be what they would be without this kid's story of coming to age. Because really, they're all kind of coming of age stories. And My Neighbor Totoro is like the beginning of that.
Totoro is the most iconic character from any of those movies.
Oh, even Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs somehow, which is crazy.
Yes. You're more likely to find a Totoro plushie than any dwarf out there. So
That's for sure.
That's a quote from Pat, folks.
it has to the animated dwarves. Oh gosh. Cancel.
Mariah's now looking up the, oh my gosh.
7.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
For the Little Women. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that was my animated movie because I really wanted an animated movie, and
You get a Japanese movie in there.
and the reason why I went with that is because it changed the way I looked at about how animation can be done, and it was influenced, of course, by Disney. And then I wanted to do the Renaissance, like I wanted to pick like an Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast because that was like that was a generation that really influenced me, just as culturally speaking. It was just huge. But My Neighbor Totoro, I feel, was with what I'm exposed to now makes more sense for where I am today, thinking through animation. So that was my next one. Here we go. Now we're going down. We've got some stuff that you guys are probably not surprised
We
about.
just have 3 to go, right?
It's 3 to go. Tree of
He
Life.
doesn't know because he.
Tree of Life by
hasn't
Terrence
kept track.
Malick. Tree of Life by Terrence Malick is my super snobby.
Really?
And the reason why is because I didn't know what snobby movies looked like. And folks, this is a little precursor to next week.
They
'cause
look like a Terrence Malick.
they look like a Terrence freaking Malick film. And we're about to get to a really snobby movie next week. And we'll The Mirror. That's a little precursor, folks, because we're watching The Mirror next week.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. And it's snobby. And Terrence Malick was like the first snobby movie I saw in theaters. And I'm like, what the crap did I just watch? And it was a little more palatable because you got like Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain and Sean Penn. So it's like big actors, but it's really this huge concepts of what is life with just visuals that are feeling visuals more than like storytelling visuals. And that to me was the first time I'm like, what is this? Like, what are we even doing here? Like, what are we doing with, it's just like a paintbrush of visuals rather than like your standard A to B storylining. And so that to me has to always go in my list, not because like I rewatched all the time, but because it just like opened the world to like, what the crap is this artistic snobby world of filmmaking that changes things for in all ways. So that's one of my top 10. Like keep it on there because I think it's things that shake you up like that. I think have to stay on that list. So that's maybe my snobbiest pick. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. I actually don't know that I've seen all of the Tree of Life. I have the Tree of Life.
I've seen
One of those
zero
weird
of it. Zero.
I remember watching the Thin Red Line. I think it came out the same year as like Saving Private Ryan.
Yep.
And I think I watched both of them, expecting similar war movies.
So different. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
Making me like question war.
Yeah.
You know, like
I was not in a place. Those are the same years I watched Rushmore and the Thin Red Line, right? Those are around the same time, like 98-ish, I think, right?
Sure.
And both of them I did not appreciate at the time. I'm like, what the crap am I watching right now? Because I didn't know who Wes Anderson was. I didn't know
Rushmore
who Terrence
took me more
Malick
than one
was.
watch.
But now I love Rushmore. I watch Rushmore now and I think it's just brilliant. But when I watched it then, I was on a date with a girlfriend and it wasn't, Dumb and Dumber.
it's not quite date
material.
Per se. Not teenage date movie.
No,
anyway.
For sure.
I have to think about this.
And then Thin Red Line, compared to Saving Private Ryan, which is like just in your face and crazy. And it's not even as straightforward as like Schindler's List. Like Schindler's List, at least I understood as a junior high schooler what was going down. But Thin Red Line, I'm like, why is everyone just talking? This is supposed to be a war movie.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's when I need to revisit that again.
Very snobby.
Yeah,
very snobby.
So that's my...
All right.
Yeah.
That's your most snobby pick, I think, actually.
Oh, for sure.
Right,
I have two more that are... I think that's my snobbiest, although the next two always make the list. One of them makes every list. One of them never makes a list. I skipped out of Seven Samurai. Didn't do it. I went with Tokyo Story with Ozu. Oh. And the reason is there wouldn't be Wes Anderson without Ozu. Tokyo Story literally
it's
took...
because of your relationship with your parents.
Yeah, they never lived in Tokyo, but same. Yeah, for sure. But it was like, when I watched Ozu, I'm like, oh my gosh, the framing. Oh my goodness, the action that goes into the frame and out of the frame, but the framing's just perfect. Always the framing. Always the perfect framing. Always the perfect, like, this is incredible. And that's Wes Anderson to a T. Just he adds the humor I like. But I feel like I've given so much homage to humor on my list already with Princess Bride and Spinal Tap and Monty Python and the Holy Grail that I didn't need to give like Wes Anderson as much.
Yeah.
So
Tokyo Story is also this amazing, like, it's a slice of life movie.
Oh, so good.
But then to your point, like, the timing and editing of that movie, like how long you're looking at a frame, is very unsettling. You're constantly like, oh no, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a ton of like intentional angst that movie puts on you.
Yeah.
It makes me
That's a good pick.
I feel like, that's a good,
that's
solid.
It makes
I
me
like that you picked one we watched.
Right.
A couple.
I've a couple. I think I'm the only person who's picked movies we've watched.
For
folks.
sure. You have. Although you picked Casablanca.
Rear Window.
Yeah, that's true. You
true.
and we crapped on you for it.
Yeah, we did. Took a big dump on that.
But we did watch that one.
We did watch that one. Ozu makes me question how I edit every time.
Yeah.
Like when I think about how I shoot weddings, I think of Ozu. And that's when I know, because I don't think about Kurosawa. I don't think about rain in the foreground, horses in the background, 6 different cameras, and like just chaos. I don't think about that.
Well, you haven't had that wedding yet.
And I don't think. Well, no, I have.
Oh.
but if
that was your wedding, Mark.
Yeah, that was every wedding.
He wasn't here.
I wasn't here for Mariah's wedding, sadly.
No.
Awkward. I wasn't here for your wedding either, actually.
Yeah.
A little awkward.
Oh man.
Only Laura's.
And
we don't talk
Zach's.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zach too.
So
I guess.
I should probably show
guess
up my
he counts.
brothers. But that's the one that I thought like, because the other stuff is like makes sense, like capturing the motion, the moment, and everything else. But I'm like, that's every wedding ever. But the framing, to think so forward thinking to get the framing, Ozu just blew me away.
And capture how depressed the parents are.
I loved it
about their children getting married. That's the thing you'll really
that is
start
actually the
adding
funny
to
part
all
about
your-
it.
Well, it's also
films.
as you get older too, and you sit down with other parents just to get a break from your kids, and you're like, you don't have conversations quite that dark with the other parents, but it's also a little bit. You're like, let's get real.
let's
This
get real,
guy's
folks.
not quite
My
as
kid's not that great.
bright as I thought he was about this. Like,
So good. I think that's so funny.
you know,
Oh, okay. Okay, last movie. It is Chinese. It is by Zhang Yimou, which is a director who did the Beijing Olympics pre-show. He's very famous in China.
That was pretty fancy.
Yeah. Zhang Yimou, and the movie
remember watching
is
that one.
Hero with Jet Li.
Oh.
And I kept it from my last list. I went through House of Flying Daggers. I went through Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger. I went through the Bruce Lee movies. I went through all these other movies that I'm like, these.
Chow Yun Fat.
And frankly, I
also Tony Leung and Donnie Yen.
Oh yeah, by the way, no, the whole cast is dope. And what's the young gal's name? She was a huge star. Huge star in China when I was there. Anyways.
Yeah. She was in Crouching Tiger, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, she was, because she was. Yeah. So this movie.
And In the Mood for Love, the Lost movie.
Yes. Yes, exactly right. This movie, I realized my cultural differences with, because I was living in China when this movie came out. So having and it was ironic because Chinese movies were just starting to get in vogue right when I moved to China. Like Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger came out like the year before 2 years before that I moved there. And then I moved to China the year after this movie came out, which was 2004. I think this movie came out in 2003. And so this movie was huge in China, but also pretty big in America. Well, it wasn't big in America until 2004, 2005. By the way, Quentin Tarantino bought the right, convinced Miramax to buy the rights and distribute it in the U.S. And then it made a killing there. So it's a crazy.
It did. I remember.
If you watch,
coming out.
If you watch it, it says Quentin Tarantino film, which makes no sense.
Right.
It just means like he convinced
Stamp of
Harvey
approval.
to probably buy it is what that probably means. But the big thing was, Zhang Ziyi. Zhang Ziyi was a big star back in the early 2000s. When I watched the movie, the hero, of course, to me was Jet Li. Sorry, spoiler alert, folks. I'm killing the ending right now. Who gave his life so that the emperor could live, because he agreed with the emperor, not with all the assassins. But when I asked my students who I was teaching in Northeast China, they said, no, the emperor is the hero. And I thought, holy crap.
Problematic answer.
Is it? Or did Zhang Yimou know that's what mainland Chinese people would say? Because he's from the mainland. He's been all over because he's a world-renowned director. But so the question is, who is the hero? And to us Westerners, of course, it's the individual who gave up his life so that the emperor could then unify China to be. Because before that, China wasn't China. China literally comes from the word the Qin dynasty, and he was the Qin emperor who brought it all together. So it's also kind of like how China feels now. It's like, it's more important that we're in power than the individuals can speak out. And that's not true for every Chinese person, of course. That's just a general cultural statement. So this movie like blew my cultural mind as a Western individualist American. And it also made me think, I don't know anything. As much as I think I know a little bit about China or know a little bit about cultures.
Well, and 10 times more than.
Know nothing. So anyways, so that was my very
deep thought movie.
Very personal. And it is still a top 10 Chinese movie.
Sure.
Like when people think about Chinese movies, this is always in the top 10 because it's the only reason why it wouldn't be snobby is because it killed in China. Like in the box office, it just killed.
Right? It's not.
It's star-studded. And it's not only star-studded, but it is like Ben-Hur epic. It is like the number of cast members and the setting. It is stupid beautiful. It is just gorgeously shot. It is just,
and it's not that it just delivered to over there. It
did pretty well here too.
Once it came here, it was amazing. Also,
it didn't do as well as Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger, but it did.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Sorry, Ang Lee. I'm more of a Zhang Yimou fan than Ang Lee. The other ones that I really
very upset.
The one
of our listeners.
Obviously, Ang Lee is listening.
We apologize.
The other one I really wanted to pick was Kung Fu Hustle, which is like this super goofy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie, but it's another.
Very
I had too many comedies already, so I really had to bring it in, and I felt like Hero was a good
place.
Yeah, it was. It is a silly movie, but it is so entertaining. If you haven't seen Kung Fu Hustle or Shaolin Soccer, do yourself a freaking favor and watch it. It is entertaining to the max. It is goofy. It is gory. It is fun. It is the weirdest mix that only China can give you, Asia can give you, because there's some. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my last one, and it's pretty. I think it's pretty snobby, but it's also very kind of off the top 100 list usually.
Yeah, I would say it's snobby. Well, certainly as Americans, like Mariah said, like I remember it coming out.
Yeah,
but I don't remember being like a thing. It didn't have the same cultural like draw as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon did.
Right, because that one was huge.
So it'd be like
but I think because
if you're a
people,
Jet Li guy,
I think because people had seen it, they watched Hero also because they're like, it's
gonna be like that.
One.
Yeah. Different director, but same sort of large flying through the air kung fu stuff. Yeah. Okay, guys. Was any issues with my list?
That's it.
Oh, so many issues. Only because I haven't seen some of it.
Oh yeah.
I think that's I don't disagree with Monty Python or Citizen Kane. Casablanca, I maybe
really
would have picked.
What, Sierra Madrid? Boo.
Yes.
No, I would have picked the Maltese Falcon. Maybe.
Really?
I don't know. Or I just maybe wouldn't have put a bogey on
in there. Yeah.
Unless it was Sabrina.
I mean, I didn't.
Just kidding.
Play it again,
just
Sam.
Kidding.
Play it again.
I didn't pick any of the ones you picked.
No.
So that's, there's an argument that I disagree with your list.
Mm-hmm.
But
just because
the only one I think that's a challenge on the outside is like maybe Tree of Life. But like I get why you picked that.
Yeah.
Like, is that Terrence Malick's best movie? I don't know. But it was
arguably one of his best. And that's another thing I looked up. I looked up his best movies because I hadn't seen all of his movies. And I started to look through it. But Tree of Life is like kind of when he was on his upswing. And then like recently he hasn't. Yeah. So it's.
Well, I think the last one that anyone really heard of was like The New World or something, right?
Yeah. Well, because he's like he's like Kubrick. He makes a movie every 3 years.
Well, he really doesn't care what anyone else thinks about his movies, which I think is a very snobby thing.
He's doing it for himself,
which I do. I do like that.
He's like Robert Downey Sr.
Yes, this is not for human consumption, but I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
No,
this is going to disturb a lot of people.
Do it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And I'm going to do a lot of drugs and maybe mess up my kid until he becomes Iron Man.
Must see documentary, FYI.
Yeah, for reals.
I very much enjoyed all these lists.
Yeah,
me too.
And we didn't have any crossover.
No, not really.
One.
But you know what? I don't have a problem with that. I felt like it was a good top 30 in a lot of ways.
I did have crossover in my not.
Yeah, I did too. I wish I would have had a Kubrick. I wish,
10 isn't enough.
10 is not enough.
So I'm going to read two lists for you guys, and just to kind of keep us with the snobs. The first one is going to be Roger Ebert's greatest movies of all time. Now,
are you doing 100 or 10?
Yeah, I think he only.
It does end at a certain point.
Yes, he does die in 2006. So, does he die then, or is that just the last time he reports? Yeah. So this one only goes up until I think 1991. Ooh. Okay. Oh no, it's a little later, and so we'll see how much our lists overlap with his to kind of keep our snobulous levels here. Okay.
Yeah.
Raging Bull. Mm-hmm. Apocalypse Now. Citizen Kane, 2001: A Space Odyssey, La Dolce Vita, which we will watch someday on this podcast. We will do it there. The Third Man, which is surprising he picked that. That's two Orson Welles movies he got down there. Casablanca, Vertigo, Cries and Whispers. I'm not familiar with that one. Agyar, The Wrath of God.
Oh,
Yeah, that is
obviously.
a very unobtainable, like, Swedish movie, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow.
I think it's what's his face? The documentarian director.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's in Star Wars.
Yes.
I forget. I think he directed that.
Okay. Tokyo Story, The General, which I'm still bummed neither one of you picked The General. I was really
he was
hoping.
on until the last minute, and then I thought
I was really hoping
he fought for the South.
Yeah.
He fought for the South.
If it wasn't,
I'd
if he
drop it off
wasn't,
my list.
At least part of the time.
Gates of Heaven, Tree of Life.
Oh.
Really?
Guys, I'm winning right now. Notorious,
Victoria.
Floating Weeds,
I don't know Floating Weeds.
28 Up. Have you seen that?
No.
It's
no.
I've watched
but
all of them.
I know that
they're so good.
Yeah.
They're
It doesn't
so
end at 28
good.
Up, right?
No, it's 64 and up, I think, is the last one I watched.
That's crazy.
And there
What a
might
cool
be
project.
another one. It's basically they took kids when they were like five.
Yeah.
And then they did like 8,
I remember
like 6
this.
and
Catch up
up,
with them
and
every-
14 and up, and 28 and
Yeah.
up. And so, no, it's great. LA Confidential. Love that movie, but I'm surprised it's on his list.
I do like it.
I do too.
And then Macabre and Mrs.
It's a little
Miller.
dicey now because Kevin Spacey is. in it,
Yeah.
but-
Well, Kevin Spacey, unfortunately, is really good, and he's unfortunately been in all
He
movies.
kind of, yeah. But nobody said any of his stuff.
Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about my list after that. Pat, you had Space Odyssey. I had Casablanca, Citizen Kane, Tokyo Story, and The Tree of Life.
Tree of Life.
I had nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in common.
nothing. Jeez.
You just
Nothing.
copied Roger Ebert. So.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently I did. Next one, Siskel. Yeah, the famous. He had 12, though, so he cheated a little bit.
Okay.
Z from 1969. Never heard of it. It's about an activist. 11, The Right Stuff, 1983.
I do like that movie.
Saturday Night Fever.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's a very surprising one.
No, thank you.
Fargo, I like that pick a lot.
I did have
that's a
a,
good
I
call.
did have a moment on that one.
Oh, here we go. Annie Hall, Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is my favorite Woody Allen.
Yeah. Raging Bull. They both agreed on Raging Bull. Surprising. Once Upon a Time in America. I didn't. That's a rough one. I get it. It's good. Do the Right Thing. I still haven't seen it. I know I need to see it. It's one of the best. It's the best Spike Lee joint ever. I get it. Goodfellas.
I would have almost picked Goodfellas.
Schindler's List. Way to go.
Yeah.
Godfather. There we go. Mariah.
Made the same time as Jurassic Park.
Yeah. No, Schindler, that was a good year of movies. So AFI, now this is only American, so whatever. So, we're missing a lot of movies. They come out with a new list. They come out with 2 lists, and one of them was 1998, and one of them was 2007. Now, a lot of them are basically the same. Citizen Kane's number 1 both times. Casablanca's number 2 in 98, now it's number 3. Godfather was number 3, now it's number 2. So yeah, Gone with the Wind, Lawrence of Arabia, all kind of the same thing. They're all kind of the same thing. But what was fascinating to me was the movies that got kicked off the list, that were like pretty high, that got kicked off the list. So I'm gonna go through these, and you guys kind of talk about why we could talk about why it got kicked off. Dr. Zhivago was 39. Now it's not even on the list.
Depressing?
Perhaps. The Birth of a
I don't know.
The Birth of a Nation, 44. Now it's off the list.
Racism?
Possibly. From Here to Eternity, I'm not familiar with that. Was 52. Now it's off the list. Amadeus, 1984, was 53. Now it's off the list.
Oh, I liked that movie.
Yeah, me too. All Quiet on the Western Front, I'm surprised got kicked off. 1930 was 54. Now it's on the list.
Because they remade it?
Maybe.
And the new one was better?
I guess. But that was.
Supersede it. You
it
can't
wasn't
have a remake. on
made.
this.
That's true. The Third Man was 57. Now it's off the list.
Because no one can watch it. So who knows?
That's true.
The
Probably
opinions
true.
of
Roger
the people
Ebert.
with opinions all died.
It's probably true. Fantasia, which is supposedly like Walt's grand opus, was 59, and now it's off the list.
It's not good.
I think that one probably, like at the time, it was like this cool experimental thing that didn't quite. I mean, I actually think people didn't click with it when it came out. I don't know that it was that successful, but like over time, you're like, yeah, they don't all hold up. There's some racist ones in there. You know, like there's stuff where you just go, I don't know.
Okay, that's true.
As good.
It's not a fully formed movie is the problem.
Yeah, it's little vignettes.
Yeah. But that was, but it was very experimental. Anyways, I thought it still changed animation.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah. This one surprised me and this one was in my lifetime. I remember it kind of falling out of fashion. Rebel Without a Cause.
Not on the list anymore?
Not on the list anymore. It was number 59. I took a film appreciation class and we had to watch Rebel Without a Cause. Mm-hmm. But now no one really references it anymore because there's other better teen movies. Because now people always talk about American Graffiti. They talk about what's the 70s one, Ben Affleck, that we talk, Days Confused. And so I think like it's just not that's not remembered anymore. I think American Graffiti
still you appreciate Orson Welles and Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, and they're not getting bumped.
Yeah, I wonder too if like, I mean, James Dean, you know, he's a little bit revered for like method acting, and then that he died young.
Yeah.
Then I wonder if like, you know, we just had more, you know, De Niro, and
we've had a lot more since
we've
then.
had other actors kind of replace that.
Yeah.
But remember, this is only
cultural mindset.
This is only 1998 to 2007. We've had De Niro.
I find it very surprising that Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, that was a kind of surprising one as well. So, okay, the next ones are kind of interesting. Mariah will be a little sad about this. Stagecoach was 63. Now it's off the list.
My
John
mom
Ford.
will be sad about that.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg was 64. Now it's off the list. Manchurian Candidates was 67. It's off the list.
Also remade. Maybe better.
The Denzel Washington version or the...
1962. 1962.
It would have been the Frank Sinatra version.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra. Yes.
An American in Paris, 1951, was 68. Now it's off the list.
I assume American Werewolf in Paris is on the list.
Yeah, next to Teen Wolf 2.
Worthing Heights was 1939, was 73. Now it's off the list. Less surprising. Dances with Wolves.
Tatanka.
Which I think is not surprising because since Avatar came out and like it's the same.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie, but it's also.
It was on my scratch sheet.
It's another white savior movie. So I think it's gotten less press because it's another white savior movie.
Sure, yeah.
And so, because it was huge. I remember everyone talked about Kevin Costner directed, wrote, and starred in Dances with Wolves. And it was
the guy
never
that
supposed to be
peed himself in the post office.
Oh, so good. So
what's interesting, I think Kevin Costner has become a much better actor the older he has gotten. There's like a gravitas he's gained. Like you watch some, like to me, Untouchables even. He's not that good in those movies.
But he was what
he
he
didn't
was.
have to be because Sean Connery was.
He's Harrison Ford. He is what he is.
I think he's gotten better at what he is. Over time.
Okay.
Like now,
I still think Dances with Wolves and Untouchables.
So you watch Yellowstone with everyone else? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I've never watched
it. I'm calling your bluff. I'm calling your bluff.
I bet I would like it.
You would
watch
not.
Waterworld over and over again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Giant, 1956. Was 82. We're off. We're moving on. We're moving on. This one is sad. Fargo is off the list. 1996. It was 84. I think that's just because better movies have come out. Mutiny on the Bounty.
I wonder if there's any Coen Brothers movies on there.
I don't know if there is. Mutiny on the Bounty was 86. Now it's nothing. Frankenstein 1931 was 87. Now it's out.
Duck Soup.
Was the Mutiny on the Bounty the one with Mel Gibson and?
They redid it.
Anthony Hopkins.
Well, the original was 1935.
Duck
with Frank
Soup
Lloyd.
went up on the list.
Yeah, Duck Soup went up from 85 to 60.
How does the Marx Brothers go up?
Because, hey, there's nothing like them.
James Dean gets taken
There's
off.
nothing like him. Patton got off the list, which actually isn't that surprising because The jazz singer got off the list, which probably isn't surprising because it has blackface, but it is the first freaking like talkie. So I don't know how I feel about that because it's.
But there's like, I think that's fair. We can't just praise stuff because it's like they're the first one who did Technicolor. Doesn't mean the movie's any good.
True.
Like a technical
I actually don't
achievement.
and I don't even know if the movie is any good. I've never actually seen it, so that's a good point. Place in the Sun, 92 is now off the list. And yeah, that's the crazy ones. And then one more. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? 1967 was.
I don't think that's nice that that's off the
Also
list.
been remade 50 billion times.
I think the remakes.
Yeah, but with who? Like Steve Martin or something?
Hey, good news,
Ashton
Pat.
Kutcher.
Toy Story made the top 100.
Bernie.
So did Blade Runner. Do the Right Thing. Last Picture Show. Sophie's Choice. 12 Angry Men. Titanic.
Last Picture Show.
Yeah.
Which M. Night Shyamalan is on that list?
Oh, I assume
Sixth
Sixth Sense, because let's be real now.
It's in the top 100?
Yes. And then Spartacus got on there, which is funny because it's 1960. Why wasn't it on the first list? Saving Private Ryan got on the list. Shawshank, of course, In the Heat of the Night. All the President's Men. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is surprising. Cabaret got on the list. Sullivan's Travels, 1941. That's surprising. The old ones are surprising that they get on the list. Like the new ones, like Fellowship of the Ring, that's not surprising. Nashville's not surprising. Intolerance in 1916 got on the list. The General wasn't on the list, and now it is, which it should have been in the first place. So it is interesting. I feel like there must have been some like, hey, you left out freaking The General.
I think
What's
there's
wrong
just
with you
new
guys?
faces voting in there, and things are just evolving a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was an interesting one to me because the top 100 list being so drastically different for AFI. Sight and Sound wasn't as crazy different. There was a few things, and then it's hard with all the IMDb and the Metacritic stuff, but those are the big ones.
Variety.
I saw. The AFI one was, to me, the most drastically different. That was so different. So I feel like there's a lot of room for change, but all in all, there's a lot of room for like what is snobby and movies that change. Like this is just our lists, and I'm pretty happy with the 3 lists we came up with. If these, I would literally take our 3 lists and make it a top 30, and I would be okay with that. Except
I'd be good top 30.
I'd be pretty.
Yeah.
I'd be mostly good with that.
Yeah. By the way,
I'm pleased that we didn't fully cave to other snobby lists. These are clearly personal lists.
yes, I agree.
But that I also would be like, yes, those are good movies.
I wouldn't argue with a lot of them.
I think the snobbiness inspired me to make decisions, but but it was still like this is between 1 or 2. I would have put these up there anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I just wish there was room for more than 10.
What was the least snobby movie on all of our lists? I already know which one mine is for all of ours. I'm going to throw one of you under the bus. Least snobby movie.
My least snobby.
I think Mariah and I are going to agree on this one.
I mean, Moneyball is my least snobby. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, Moneyball is the least snobby of any of our
Mine's
lists.
probably South Pacific.
But I think sorry.
But not everyone
I
would
wasn't
watch-
picking my own. I was just picking you guys'. You guys are so much nicer than me.
I'm just being honest.
The only one, like, not everyone would have watched Moneyball, and therefore it gets a slightly more snobby.
Yeah. I also
I think
would
they
pick
would, 'cause
Amelie because
Ooh, which least?
it's so nice that I can't watch it twice. I think I
Oh,
loved
I've watched
it.
it twice.
Amelie.
I've watched it twice.
I think she's charming and lovely, but I felt like it was just so nice. She was just such a nice, great. I like the dark. I want some darkness. If I could put Dancer in the Dark on the list, I'd watch that more than once.
Oh, that's creepy.
Because I'm a sick individual.
I think My Neighbor Totoro might be my least snobby pick.
Yeah.
I would say nowadays.
Or Spinal Tap might be my least spinal.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. No, if I had to kick out one, I'd kick out Moneyball, even though I love it. I've watched it more than anything else. I'd probably pick out.
Yeah, that definitely made my
I'd
list
kick that one
mostly
out.
because
Just you watch
I
it so
just-
much. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just drawn to it.
Movies I want to watch is Pan's Labyrinth out of all the lists that we have. That's the next one on my to-watch list, followed by Halloween. What about you guys? Is there any to-watch from the other people's list you want to watch? Or have you seen them all?
I haven't seen Tree of Life.
Oh, yeah. It's It's snobby.
I highlighted some like Mulholland Drive. I don't think I've watched all of,
Mm.
and it's been
Yeah,
such a
we
long
should
time
watch that
anyway. I
one.
want to rewatch that one.
Yeah, none of us had a David Lynch movie. That's fine.
No, if we pick
No.
shows, it'd
Yeah.
probably be on the
Twin Peaks is
my
fine.
top. Yeah,
I mean-
I put Twin Peaks up there.
Fargo would be a good one to do on the podcast at some point.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the list. but it
Something
was
Coen
mentioned.
Brothers, yeah. Yeah.
I will rewatch
I missed
Arrival.
out.
I'd watch
I missed out on Metropolis.
It's not an easy
That'd be
watch,
one
but
I
it would be
know.
one to go through because it's just the
Visually, it's so
visually,
striking.
story's not as good, but man, visually, it's just so mind blowing what they did back then. Yeah. Okay, guys. Nice work. Thank you, guys. That's all the work we did was just right there.
It was hard.
That was rough. I feel like we defined
And I think
who we were as
the
people.
benefit of doing it was, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His assessment.
And we're gonna make our little cards, right? Put them and say, "Are we gonna bump this?"
I felt better about my top 10 list after watching the movies we have.
Yeah.
Like, I felt more in a place where I could say, I believe in this because of what I've seen.
Yeah, I've
I
been
can justify
influenced
these things.
enough by other
Like,
snobby movies
the-
to say this is still holding up.
The change I made to my animated movie was because I watched another animated movie in the same filmmaker genre. And I'm like, oh, that is so good. I like that as well as I like my movie. Ah, crap. I should probably pick this one. So I thought, yeah, just good stuff. All right.
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. This has been your top 10 list from 2023 from Mariah, Pat, and Seth. We are your how to be a movie snob. How to be a picture, films, movie, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting so snobby.
Film
I
to
know.
Be more snobby,
But see,
we were
we're
not snobs. Yet.
we were not snobs yet, so we don't call them pictures yet. We don't call them films. We call them movies.
The next podcast will be how to be a
Film
film
snob.
aficionado.
And then the next one will be just like, it'll be pictures. And then like some French word afterward.
Ho ho. That's the name of the podcast.
Thanks for listening, guys. Like, subscribe, and we can't wait to see you next week where we'll be talking about The Mirror, the first Soviet movie we've watched ever. All right, guys. Take care, and until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I know. Are we
Dark Crystal.
Dark
Why wasn't
Crystal,
that on the list?
Skeksis. I was like, oh, that was the Skeksis. Like.